Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and I'm going to be having this small clip at the start of every single one of my videos leading up to this event. It is the first ever meetup kind of event that I'm going to be doing ever for the MrBucsNation community. Is the MrBucsNation Game Watch meetup. You guys see it up here on the top left of your screen. Buccaneers versus Rams, September 29th. 4:05 p.m. at Buffalo Wild Wings on 4075 Park Boulevard North in Pinellas Park, Florida. If you guys are interested in going to the event and you want to RSVP, please send an email to MrBucsNation@gmail.com and let me know how many people you want to be going to the event, just so I can keep a tally of how many people are going to be going to the event. But without further ado, guys, I hope you all enjoy the video. Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about some of the players that you need to watch out for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers preseason week 3. It's the Buccaneers versus the Cleveland Browns. So without further ado, guys, let's talk about it. First thing that I want to mention is I genuinely have no idea how long these starters are going to play. I know a lot of people usually expect preseason week 3 to be kind of the longest amount of playing time for the starters, both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, but I just also recently just saw that Bruce Arians said that he went to his offensive coaches. He asked them, hey guys, how long should we play the starting offense? The offensive coaches said, well, Bruce, we really think that we should play the Buccaneers starting offense for the entire half. And then Bruce Arians said, nah, I don't think they need to play that long. So I really don't know how long the Buccaneers starters are going to play both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. It is entirely anybody's guess at this point, although I'm sure we'll figure out more information in the next day or two. But I still have some players listed down here. They're all backups. I'm going to be honest with you guys. You know, none of them really are going to be in a starting capacity right now, but I still think that they're important. A lot of them are either A, continuing momentum, B, bouncing back from injury, or C, trying to either make a roster spot or even potentially make the practice squad. So without further ado, let's start talking about these players. First two guys that I want to talk about are Damone Harris and Patrick O'Connor, both guys who have come on really strong in the past 2 weeks of preseason games, and even Patrick O'Connor has definitely been looking good in training camp as well. These are two guys who, like I said, in the case of Damone Harris, he needs to clean up his penalties a little bit if he wants to have any chance of making the roster or even in the practice squad to a certain capacity. He's been playing really good in my opinion, but Bruce really hates penalties, and Damone Harris, he's had a couple of penalties there where I've just been like crushing kind of penalties, nothing insane. It's not like the guy's getting like 7 penalties or anything like that, but against Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Miami Dolphins in preseason week 2, I believe he had a face mask penalty, something along those lines, that didn't end up getting the Miami Dolphins the first down on, I believe, a 3rd down play. Maybe it was a 3rd down or 2nd down play, so you can't have that. So I think if Damone Harris cleans up his penalties, he should be in a relatively good position to either A, maybe squeeze in on a roster spot, or B, at the very least, potentially make the practice squad. And then in the case of the Patrick O'Connor, I just put, can he stick? Because he's been with the team a couple of years now. He's definitely no stranger to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He definitely seems like he's on that roster bubble, a little bit more so than Damone Harris. I've liked what I've seen from both guys 100%, and I think that they still could have a chance to make an impact on this roster and potentially get in, but it's really an uphill climb for them right now. The outside linebacker position is a really talented group of guys right now. Maybe they slip in as a 5th or even 6th guy, depending on how many people the Buccaneers want to carry, but right now I think it's all about, you know, improving their own stock, not just for the Buccaneers, but for the rest of the NFL as well. I think if they aren't on the Buccaneers practice squad when everything is said and done, I think they could even end up on another team. Next 3 guys I want to talk about are Kevin Minter, Jack Sitchie, and Devontae Bond. First off, Kevin Minter, tackling machine. Absolute tackling machine. He's got a roster spot. I think he's going to be a big part of the interior linebacker rotation that the Buccaneers are going to have. I actually just put the machines in parentheses, and I put him and Deon Buchanan. I've labeled them the machines. Will that nickname stick? Probably not, but the reason I'm calling them the machines is because so far up to this point in the first 2 preseason games, Deon Buchanan Buchanan and Kevin Minter have looked like absolute tackling machines out there. And I know they're friends, so I figured let's pair them together. Let's call them the Machines. It'll be fun. But I'm looking for more of the same from Kevin Minter. Just make him an absolute tackling machine. Him and Deon Buchanan have been having a fabulous preseason so far. I'm looking for more momentum and more continuation of great play from Kevin Minter. In the case of Jack Sitchie, I think that he's still rebounding from ACL surgery. He had a pretty decent game, all things considered, against the Miami Dolphins, and even in training camp, you know, the first few practices that I saw him come in, he looked like a beast in the run game, and he also looked like a monster blitzing as well as a pass rushing linebacker. I want to see more of that. I want to see more of what Jack Sitchie can offer. I want to see the guy who was valued as a third-round draft pick if he would have stayed healthy in college. I know that injuries have bugged him a lot for the majority of his college and NFL career, but I think you can tap into that potential. You can have another amazing piece at that interior linebacker position with Jack Sitchie. And then finally, for Devontae Bond, I just put keep it going. You know, just keep on going, Devontae Bond. I'll be honest, I wasn't the biggest Devontae Bond truther the past couple of years. I've always just was kind of ho-hum about Devontae Bond. Just, he's there, you know, he's a guy who's there. He doesn't do anything too terribly bad, but I haven't seen him do anything too terribly great. Oh boy, that has changed this off-season and preseason. The guy looks like a completely different player under the Todd Bowles scheme in the Bruce Arians system. He's looking like a great guy right now, not just as an interior linebacker, but also as an outside pass rushing linebacker as well. And Bruce Arians, he loves his versatility, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Safeties, linebackers, whatever have you, the more versatile you are, the more available you are, the more valuable you are to Todd Bowles and Bruce Arians. So I really think that Devontae Bond has a really decent chance to be a very valuable player to this Buccaneers defense, not just as a depth player, but also as a rotational kind of fringe starter type of guy as well. Next guy I want to talk about, a little bit of a low-key, underrated type of guy, somebody who not a lot of people are talking about, but I was very impressed by this player last week versus the Miami Dolphins. It's John Battle. Now, I know people are going to say, well, James, John Battle isn't going to end up on this roster, and, you know, maybe he won't, but I think that John Battle could definitely potentially fit somewhere into a practice squad on this team. I would 100% be okay with it. I think that he would do a phenomenal job on the practice squad. I was very impressed with him in that Miami Dolphins preseason game, and I was even impressed with him in the joint practices before that preseason game. He hasn't been on the team that long, and I think that he's been doing a really, really good job so far up to this point. It looks like he's very comfortable in the system. It looks like he knows what he's doing, and he's getting some really good pass deflections and putting on some great coverage, so I'm very, very impressed with him. Hopefully he can stick with the practice squad for the Buccaneers, but, you know, honestly, it might not happen because he's been doing so good. Maybe he ends up as a backup safety for another team. Another safety I want to talk about real quick who I was pretty impressed with in that Miami Dolphins preseason game, especially since he's on very short notice, is Darian Stewart. I love Darian Stewart. Darian Stewart was one of my guys that I wanted the Buccaneers to sign at the safety position when all these talks of injuries came up, and, you know, the Buccaneers were working out safety Marcus Gilchrist, I believe who it was at the time. One of the guys that I wanted was Darian Stewart. They ended up signing him. Big fan of his throughout his entire career with the Denver Broncos, the Carolina Panthers, whatever have you. I like Darian Stewart. Very good veteran presence in that game against the Miami Dolphins. He looked pretty darn good in my opinion. I know that obviously, oh, but James, he got trucked by Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's a very wishy-washy type of thing. Obviously, defensive backs, they don't want to get helmet-to-helmet hits against quarterbacks or whatever have you, so I can understand Darian Stewart wanting to play it a little bit safe. But again, very impressed by the veteran. He is a little bit up there in age. I believe he's 32, 33 years old, but you really can't tell because the guy still looks very athletic, still looks very good in coverage, still a very good blitzing safety as well. And given the injuries that the Buccaneers have, and given the youth that the Buccaneers have in this secondary, I think Darian Stewart is a phenomenal, phenomenal addition who I think you could use him as a starter if you absolutely want to. Four guys that I want to talk about are pass catchers for this team. First guy, Tanner Hudson. You guys know, hashtag Hudson tight end 3. Get it trending. Join the movement. But yeah, you guys know Tanner Hudson. I love Tanner Hudson. Good God, I love Tanner Hudson. Yes, let's just keep on going with Tanner Hudson. Hopefully he has a good game versus the Cleveland Browns. The last three guys I want to talk about are all wide receivers and are all battling for a wide receiver roster spot, and it is Anthony Johnson, Spencer Schnell, and Justin Watson, and Bobo Wilson. I'll even throw Bobo Wilson in there as well. A couple of things to note with this group of wide receivers that I just mentioned. First things first, Bruce Arians mentioned all of these guys in terms of people who are battling for that 5th wide receiver spot. Keep in mind, Bruce did not say 6 wide receivers. He said that 5th wide receiver spot, which kind of leads me to believe that Bruce Arians might go into the regular season carrying only 5 wide receivers, and it seems like he's really whittled it down to those 4 guys. And yeah, obviously the 4th wide receiver spot is definitely up for grabs. The reporter asked Bruce Arians in this same press conference, what would you say that Justin Watson is a lock for that 4th wide receiver spot? And Bruce Arians said, no, I wouldn't say that. So who knows right now, those 4th and 5th wide receiver spots are definitely up for grabs, and I think that you can really chalk it down between these last 4 wide receivers: Anthony Johnson, Spencer Schnell, Justin Watson, Bobo Wilson. Bruce Arians mentioned all of those 4 guys whenever he talked about wide receivers who are battling for those 2 spots. And you know what, if I'm being honest, I've liked, you know, things that I've seen from all 4 of these guys. I will say the guy who is the least impressive to me so far is Bobo Wilson, simply because of his inconsistency, but Bruce Arians said that he has had a heck of a camp, so I'll take Bruce Arians' word for it on that one. But I really liked what Anthony Johnson and Justin Watson have been doing. They're kind of more bigger bodied receivers who have really, really good hands and are pretty decent route runners. And then in the case of Spencer Schnell, the guy's just an underdog, okay? He's undersized. He has to jump up to get the ball. You know, he's playing his heart out, and I really, really enjoy it. He obviously had that really big game versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then against Miami, we didn't see him too much as a wide receiver. He was definitely working a little bit more as a returner and on special teams. So I kind of want to see a bounce back from guys like, say, Justin Watson, Anthony Johnson, and Spencer Schnell, who didn't really do a whole lot in the game versus the Miami Dolphins. And then in the case of Bobo Wilson, just get more consistent. I want to root for you, Bobo. I really, really do, but just get more consistent. I've seen you drop a couple of balls. Don't do that as much, and then I think you'll be amazing. So really, those 4 guys, they're still duking it out. They're still doing some awesome things. I will say, fun note here is that Bruce Arians actually has a nickname for Spencer Schnell now. He called him Snelly, so I'm going to refer to him as Snelly Schnell for the remainder of the preseason, and if he makes the regular season roster or practice squad, that's even better. So I'm rooting for Snelly Schnell, I'm rooting for Justin Watson, rooting for Anthony Johnson, and rooting for Bobo Wilson. I'm really, really interested to see how things shake out. But guys, that's it for this video, talking about all the players that you guys should keep an eye on in this upcoming preseason game versus the Cleveland Browns. Who are some other players that you guys are looking out for? Let me know down in the comment section below. Hope you guys all enjoyed this video. I had a blast recording it. But until the next video and the next live stream, I will see you in the next one. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.